Ultrakill, Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege. What do all of these things have in common? Racism. Oh, guns! Now, if you've ever played video games, you should know that guns are a pretty crucial part to an arcade horror shoot. But, what if we played Ultrakill without any guns? Now, that seems like a pretty bad idea, right? But luckily for you, I'm full of bad ideas. If I had to put it on a spectrum, it'd be somewhere between low gang and Lunchley. Now, before we get to hammering my balls on an anvil, we have to set out a couple of ground rules. Number one, there's no guns allowed in any fashion at all. That includes firing a projectile. Now, you may say, but Omega Smash, you repeatedly use a secondary fire on the money revolver, and a coin is technically a projectile, so wouldn't that mean the dance band? And to that I say, shut the fuck up. Second of all, I gotta make sure I can flex on Gabriel as much as possible. And technically, the coins don't come out of the gun. I flip them with my fist, which is completely and totally allowed. So go get a life. Second, I have to complete this on a fresh save file. And finally, this is done on standard difficult because I want to receive an ample amount of dick. And before you say, oh, but this footage you have some progress on a save file. And if you look at lenient difficulty, it's on level 1-4 and not a fresh save file. First of all, go get a life or a job. I don't care. And second of all, I got that to show that I was doing the run on normal difficulty because after that, I went and started a fresh save file. See, I'm not crazy. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started with the prelude where we already have a problem. You see this glass right here? The problem is I can't break it with the base arm, and the only other method I have of breaking this glass is firing the charge shot on the base revolver. According to the single rule I set for myself, I cannot do. So we had to do some creative stress testing. By creative stress testing, I mean slamming my keyboard until something works. After doing this for longer than I'm willing to admit, I made a shocking discovery that this game has cheats. And one of the cheats is just turning off all the collision. Now, before we go ahead and do this, let me consult our rulebook to make sure that this is legal. Yep, wow. Very interesting. After consulting the rulebook, I have determined that the use of cheats is not in the rulebook, and therefore deemed to be legal. Now, before you get mad at me for saying, yeah, why didn't you include cheats in the rulebook? First things first, I'm pretty fucking stupid. I didn't even know that there were cheats in this game. So the only loser here is you! Because you were wrong. So after spending more time than I'm willing to admit running into a wall, only to figure out that the only solution my monkey brain could come up with was to hit thing until thing worked, and it works. Perfectly fine. Yeah, I got that one from Chris Brown. So after that, we're able to go through the entirety of the prelude with relative ease, because most of the enemies here are not very hard. And you forget, I may be pretty dumb, but I'm not that bad at video games. If you know, you know. Anyways, going back to the prelude, I came with a couple of strategies to disperse with the enemies, most of which just include parrying, because surprisingly, just about every enemy in this game has a parry, except for, well, we'll talk about him later. Also, slight side tangent, I had to use my special strategy for 0-3 again, because it kind of blocks you on the wall, so, you know, we're just gonna move on, okay? Anyways, on to Act 1, where I bet you didn't know this, but if you throw a coin into the fountain, it spawns the secret level. Yeah, you probably already knew that. Anyways, we head on to the super secret level where it takes me 20 minutes to do the special level. And it's not even my fault. Some of these puzzles are not easy. Now, I may be a moron, but I'm not stupid. Maybe. I don't know. Speaking of stupid, I'm going to go on a little slight side tangent here again. Yeah, I know. I took one of those online autism tests and said I was autistic, so not sure about that one. Anyways, going back on topic, also in 1-1, we figure out my other new favorite strategy. Running away like a little bitch. And you may get mad at me by saying, oh no, you're supposed to kill the enemies. And to you I say, you're not the one trying to beat a game designed around guns without guns. So shut up, poopy head. Anyways, another slight small tangent I learned apparently. If you hit people with skulls, it sets them on fire. I did not know this. I do know that I need to take my meds. We're able to cruise through 1-1 with relative ease. 1-2 was not bad at all. 1-3, I had to fight the hideous mass boss, but it wasn't that bad. And we get all the way up to the V2 fight with relative ease. But by far the most important thing on 1-4, and I cannot stress this enough, is Hank. You see Hank? He's just chilling. And I love Hank. Also, a fun fact designed to my testament and skill in this game. I kind of died like 15 times on the V2 fight the first time I played through the game. But hey, this time I only died like 5 times. So that means I'm good. I'm not very good. Now, heading into layer 2, where we can again use the same strategy that my dad used when I was born. You get the joke. It's running away, you know, get it? Because my dad left me. I'm so funny. Anyways, 2-1 was light. 2-2 was no trouble at all, because you know I'm so good at this video game. 2-3 was light, and 2-4 I was struggling with the boss at first, and then I realized you could parry his punches back at him. Crazy fact. Oh, what? You already knew that? Well, fuck. Now, on to layer 3, where we have a change. Wow, how cool and interesting. It's just less levels to play. Thank God, because I'm already twisting my balls enough trying to do this challenge. Anyways, 3-1 is not that bad, and now on to the Gabriel boss fight on 3-2. And now, for some context of this fight, I died like 32 times doing it the first time, but doing this now, I only died like 14 times. You know, I'm kind of a Sigma. What the fuck am I saying? Anyways, I have a low taper fade. Low taper fade. You know what's crazy is that meme's still massive, and it's crazy because it's been out for like a year, and since the meme came out, it's so massive. Now, on to layer 4, and the stupidest fucking levels in the entire game. Now, you may ask me, why do you hate the desert levels so much? Couple of reasons. One, the brightness outside is way too bright. It makes me feel like the sun is actually touching me. Gross. Second, it's really easy to fall off the platforms, and when you fall off, boom, there goes 50 health. And the thing about me is that it's really hard for me to regain my health, because I basically have to get within a dick length of an enemy to deal damage and in turn heal myself. And now, the worst mechanic that this game has ever introduced is by far sand. This is the dumbest mechanic ever. I hate it so much. Basically, so for those who don't know, in Ultrakill, the way to heal yourself is by damaging enemies and being close while you damage them, so they bleed and you can heal from that blood. Now, basically, what the sand does is it essentially just takes away all of that, and then you don't get any healing from anything. And on some bosses, it basically just makes them freaking impossible. Like, take, for example, the rock guy from Fortnite. Take, for example, the stone guy. He has no parryable attacks, which means outside of hitting him, there's no other way to gain health. Another thing about the sand is that it makes appearances in later levels with significantly harder enemies, which is fucking stupid. I would compare sand to trying to wipe your ass with sandpaper. I mean, some people might like it, but not me. Anyways, outside of the stupid aids that are these desert levels, we're able to get through them with only 9 smashed keyboards, 3 cracked mice, and a partridge in a pear tree. Now, we do the second V2 fight, which is honestly quite easy, but in case you suck at the game, here's a pretty easy guide to how to beat him. We start off just by punching him in the face, and then we just do that again. And then after that, we beat up V2, and we're able to get the grappler thingamajig, which lets you grapple towards enemies and get a lot closer. And let me say, this thing is actually incredibly useful, because it allows me in my small amount of range to get a lot closer to enemies. But there's one drawback that I didn't realize until much later. When you use the grappler and you're below 50 health and you grapple past a certain distance, you can't heal that health until a certain amount of time has passed. It's like if I'm on 30 health and I grapple over to this enemy that's pretty far away, the thing is that the game will put this little gray thing in my health bar, which essentially temporarily caps my health at 50. So this thing basically just ends up being completely worthless if I'm under 100 HP. So thanks, Ultrakill. I really wanted a mobility item that just restricts my health so much. What are you gonna give me next as a tool? A live bomb. Anyways, on to layer 5, where it's a ship thing. And little known fact about 5-1, did you know that you can skip the ferryman's fight? Yeah, neither did I. But did you remember when I put in the rules I'm allowed to use coins so I can skip this fight? Yeah, I'm so smart, not dumb, not dumb, not dumb, and not dumb, and not dumb, and don't have dementia, don't have dementia, don't have... Anyways, the rest of layer 5 is pretty easy. And we get access to something that's gonna come in handy later. The rocket launcher. But you're just gonna have to wait. You know, I gotta... pretty decent plan for it. The plan is fuck it, we ball. Anyways, we move on to layer 6 where we breeze through the beginning level. Also, before we move on, slight side tangent. Why does the music sound like a foghorn? You know, I could just imagine it like, okay, we need some music for this level. Any ideas? And the development team just shows like a foghorn on the street and they're just like, oh, I got it. Anyways, now onto the second Gabriel fight. And wait for it, I beat Gabriel in 2 tries. I'm not kidding you. When I played through this game, the first time took me like 35 attempts. And I'm convinced now that it's so much easier to beat this guy when you're not using guns because of how much damage the parries do and the full heal you get from every time you parry. Like, I'm not even kidding you. There's so much downtime in between. You get like 4 punches in on him. And then after that, you get like 4 parries. So if you hit them, that's like half of his health bar on one phase. So you only need to do that like 4 times. In all honesty, the fight is so easy that you can do it without guns. Or you're me and you're perfect. Anyways, after punching Gabriel directly in the face, he goes all the way back to South Detroit and goes on a rampage. Kind of like King Von. I guess King Von is like Gabriel in this universe, or vice versa. I don't know. Speaking of Satan's soldiers getting out for free, how about Young Thug, everybody? Now, on to layer 7, which is by far the hardest part of this challenge. easily. And we're going to start off real nice and aidsy with 7-1. 7-1 as a whole isn't that bad of a level. I only died like 8 times on like the regular part. Now the boss, on the other hand, which I kind of been hinting at for like the entire time, and you know, it's being at the entire time and it being absolutely terrible, the Minotaur. Now I could legitimately give 20 minutes of straight yapping on why this boss is terrible, but the main reasons on why this boss is terrible, especially melee only, is because his hitbox is completely broken. So imagine that you're on a minecart moving. And now if you step off the minecart, that's 20 health gone, and your only way of healing it is to hit the Minotaur, which has a completely broken hitbox. No matter how many times you try to hit it in the head, it will not register. The only places you can hit it are below the neck and on the back. So in order to deal damage to him, you have to get him stuck into a state where he's up against a corner and you can hit him. But the game, of course, has a countermeasure for this, where he'll sweep his back and try to hit you. So in order to deal damage to him, you'll have to jump on his back and hit him without getting hit. And keep in mind, each of the hits that the Minotaur hits you with deals 30 damage. And the max you'll heal for is 20 health. And your only other form of health pickups is the occasional enemy that comes by. Now this boss took me fucking 43 minutes, and I died 37 times. Oh, but wait, we're not done yet. There's a second phase to this stupid fucking boss. I swear to God, this entire boss was just made to twist my balls, and it's the fucking stupidest piece of shit ever. Oh boy, got me really angry. It's a water. Oh, now it's time for possibly the worst level in the entire run. And before you tell me, oh, it can't be that bad. Yes, it can. And in order to combat such levels of bullshit, we have to fight back with our Lord and Savior. Lawyers love him. Just ask O.J. Simpson about him. Reading the fine print. Wow, so cool. So basically, if you review over our rules, it says absolutely 0 guns are allowed under any circumstances. Now, according to the definition on Wikipedia, a gun manually fires a projectile out of a barrel, while a rocket launcher, which is completely different from a gun, ignites a self-propelled projectile and in no way does push that projectile forward at all. Therefore, a rocket launcher is not considered a gun and is therefore legal. And before you get mad at me, you try to do this level with only your fist, because it took me well over an hour and a half with the rocket launcher, so shut up. Anyways, the whole concept of 7-2 is it's supposed to be kind of like a very open level, but the main difficulty comes with the mine layers, which are these giant red robots that look a lot like the Guttermans, but with one distinct difference between them. They have 0 parries and are near impossible to kill with your fist, because whenever you get close to them, they just knock you 40 billion feet in the air and do half your health. So yeah, that's why I need the rocket launcher, you know, because I suck. But anyways, I use the rocket launcher's projectile stop ability combined with strafing right and left to kill the mine layer and end up with the bomb. I get at the end of the level. Now, essentially from there, I work my way backwards and clear another section of Guttermans. But now, I need to get the cart, which you're supposed to get at the start of the level. Oh, but wait, the bullshit doesn't stop there. We go into another room with another Gutterman in it. And fun fact, I bet you didn't know that the rocket launcher, if it gets hit by the Gutterman's machine gun, the rocket just makes like my father and disappears. Oh, but did I also mention that the Gutterman spawns right next to a sand grenade, which ends up getting sand all over the Gutterman. So you can't heal back the health it takes away from you. Yeah, I could go on and on about how awful this level is, but regardless, we're finally able to beat this level and move on to 7-3. Anyways, despite the fact that 7-1 and 7-2 were possibly the hardest levels I've ever done in this game, 7-3 and 7-4 were not that bad. And I mean that there was no compact spaces, and there were a lot less mine layers than before, so it wasn't that bad at all. And I was able to get through with relative ease and somewhat minimal deaths. And that's gonna do it for the challenge, because Ultrakill is an early access game, and it's only released up to layer 7. Thank God, because I feel like layer 8 and layer 9 are going to make me want to rip my feet off and put them up on Feet Finder. You know, I gotta make my money somehow. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you want to try this challenge for yourself, just don't. I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, this challenge gave me vocal aids, the amount of times I cracked keyboards or threw mice across my room. Yeah, I would not recommend doing this. It was not fun, but anyways, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, where hopefully I don't give myself AIDS.